Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today we're back with musician, comedian, book lover, and social media wizard, Stephen Walker. Hey, Stephen, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Sure, it's great to have you back. And today I want to talk all about social media with you. So, Stephen, let's start with Instagram. What would you say are the best tips for creating engaging videos?
I would say you have to be consistent. For some reason, if you take a couple days off, the algorithm will hate you and it just won't pump your content in front of the same people. So I would say be consistent, post a couple times a day. I mean, you could post once if you want. Don't do it more than 3 times because you don't want to bombard people with content. But consistency is key, which is just a general rule on most things, but especially social media. And then, secondly, I would say find a niche and stick to the niche. Now, you may have a couple of, you may have a trial and error in the beginning to where, this is my niche, this is my, and I say niche like the style of content. Not, I mean, if you're an author, you obviously have a product you're trying to sell and get out there, but what's the style of content? How are you going to promote this thing? You may play around with different things and eventually land on something that goes viral. Whenever you do that, whenever it goes viral, just feed into that. And it will go viral eventually. The odds are in your favor because it's social media. When you go viral, just stick with that niche.
Right. Now, do you have the same advice for growth, or do you have anything else, tips on how to grow your Instagram?
For growth, I would say the same thing. Yeah, just stay consistent and don't change your niche when you find out what it actually is. For me, it took a long time, and I oddly enough landed on books. It's always my thread has always been comedy. That's always been my consistent, main thing on anything that I do is just to be funny. So which helps, it's in my favor because people love to laugh. So anything I do that I can make funny will sell. Now, if you're not a funny person, don't try to make people laugh. That's not going to go over well at all. They're not going to laugh at you. They're going to yell at you and make fun of you, and it's not going to be good. Unless you get a lot of views from it, then you could actually kind of capitalize on that. But yeah, I would just say be consistent and stick with your niche. Same advice.
And what is the main way that you generate revenue from Instagram as a whole?
So Instagram itself does not pay me, which is odd because Facebook pays me and they're both a part of Meta. So on Facebook, and I steered away from Facebook for the longest time because, oh, it's just old people on Facebook. Apparently not. It's very lucrative. For instance, I'm going to be making $1,000 in January simply from viral videos from December, which is not a small amount of money. And it's just because I had a couple of videos go viral that were several million views, and then it accumulated it to be $1,000. So that's another important thing. When you have a Instagram account, make a Facebook business account and post to both of them. Because for some reason you can post to Facebook and it'll go in Instagram, but you also have to post in Instagram and vice versa. So Facebook pays me, but Instagram doesn't pay me. But Instagram is a great springboard into something that you have that people can pay for. So most of my merchandise purchases from other people, or my buy me a coffee, or my tips, or whatever, my Patreon, all comes from Instagram. So it's great to point people to other things, but terrible at actually giving you money itself.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, I think some people at this stage as well underestimate Facebook
Yeah.
for that exact purpose. Now, I want to transition a little bit and talk about YouTube. What would you say are your best tips for creating engaging videos on YouTube?
Yeah, I would say again, I would be consistent with YouTube. Post, you don't have to post every day a main video because that's going to be a lot of work, but post at least once a week, maybe twice a week if you're feeling froggy, but post as much as you can and make it good quality. And then post on Instagram Shorts. You could do that every day. Just whatever you're posting on Instagram and Facebook, post on YouTube Shorts.
Right. And what would you say are your best technical tips for growth on YouTube? Say length of a video or hashtags, keywords, links, etc.
Yeah, you mentioned hashtags. Hashtags is good just across the board on anything you do. Find unique hashtags. That's no different on YouTube either. I think they're called just tags, and you can space between them and have a whole sentence for a tag rather than a hashtag, one word. Again, consistency. You want to use your niche, but I think that sharing links to your YouTube videos on other social media platforms such as Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, you want to point people to YouTube because YouTube is a great way to make money, and that's another reason you want to use YouTube. It's the end goal is building a large YouTube.
Right, right. Well, that was super helpful. And I know that we talked a little bit about Instagram versus Facebook. Now, I want to know what the standard is for making money on YouTube.
So there's a threshold in the beginning. I forget exactly what it is, but I think it's I think it's at least 1,000 subscribers and I think 4,000 hours of watched video. And from there, you can apply for Google AdSense, which is whenever you watch a YouTube video and you see the third party ads, the video creator gets money from that ad. And so the payout is anywhere between $10 and $30 per thousand views. So if you get 100,000 views on a video, you're making a nice little wad of cash there. And if you get a million views, that's $10,000 to $30,000 off of one video. That's passive income, which is insane when you think about it. So that's why I recommend feeding a lot of effort into YouTube, which is what I'm doing currently.
That's fantastic. Now, Stephen, I want to close by just asking you about your growth on TikTok because it has been very successful. And I know you'd mentioned changing niches and things, and TikTok is kind of a little bit of a different beast. So, could you tell us a little bit about growth and revenue and just all the things that have come from TikTok for you?
Yeah, TikTok was the initial virality. Is that the word virality? I don't know words. Authors would probably correct me instantly. That's not even a word. Anyway, TikTok was how I initially went viral. And they have creator fund and you can get paid per views and it's not a whole lot of money, but again, it's something. That's what's the main point of all of this is just put all of your eggs in a bunch of baskets, but make it the same niche and you can get a bunch of money that way. Anyway, so for TikTok, I changed niches through the 6 years that I was on it, which is not helpful. It's a good case study going to my TikTok and looking at the fact that I have 1.1 million followers, but my recent videos have like 2,000 views. I have terrible engagement because I don't have 1.1 million really real followers. I just have 1.1 million people that once followed me for one random video that had nothing to do with any of my other videos. I was just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, which is fine, but eventually you have to land somewhere, which I landed in the book community. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend changing niches unless, you have to find your niche.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on all things social media.
Yep, thanks.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning into today's interview with musician, comedian, book lover, and social media wizard, Stephen Walker. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.